guys, welcome back to Crafting with Kate. Okay, so I decided to show you guys how I make my face mask. I know there's a ton of videos out here showing you guys how to make face masks, so I figured why not jump in the game. So what you would need is you need some jersey material, which I have plenty of that. You will also need some stick pins. I use a fabric pin. You will also need some fabric scissors. I actually used this. I printed this off of Cricut Design Space. They are giving you a free printout, a pattern for the face mask, and I decided to print it out on cardstock, cut it out, and use this and just trace it with my pen. And it makes it much easier. With my Cricut mat, it was dirty. I was cutting fabric and it was getting snagged and stuff like that. So I found this a better way of doing it was by printing this out. And of course, you would need some fabric. So one other thing is, as I jump into it, because I don't have it in front of me right now, is the earpiece, the elastic piece. Of course, all the stores are empty, can't find it online. So what I decided to do is I decided to buy hair ties. So I cut the hair ties in half, and you will see it in my demonstration how I cut it, and I stitch it along the end. And you'll see as soon as, as I get into the video. But I was just letting you guys know that's what I use to substitute my my elastic is hair ties. So let's just jump right into this video. Okay, like I mentioned, these are the hair ties that I purchased to put as the elastic on the mask. I purchased these from the Dollar Tree. So what I do is I just basically pop them loose. And you will see how I go ahead and I stitch it on. Oh, I also use the Dollar Tree painter's tape just to secure it down. And like I say, you see that while I stitch out the mask. So, by the way, guys, my sewing machine, I purchased this sewing machine for my daughter when she was 12 years old. Never in a million years I thought I would have my daughter teach me how to sew, because I was very intimidated with sewing, but not embroidering, right? But yes, so I've gotten a hang and a swing out of sewing. So hopefully I might turn into a seamstress and be sewing outfits, who knows? So let me go ahead and show you. Then so I laid it on my fabric and I drew it out and I cut it. I did it off camera. I did that also with my lining. And a quick tip is, if you fold your fabric in half, you can go ahead and cut it just one time. After you do your draw out, you can just fold the fabric, cut it, and then you'll have two perfect pieces. And what you want to do is leave it folded, and you want to start stitching along the curved side. Also, before I start the machine, I'm going to put it on reverse. I'm going to start stitching, but then I'm going to reverse it to kind of secure the end of it. So I'm going to do that on each end so it won't unravel or come loose. I'm going to start the stitch and reverse it just a few stitches in. So here you have it. I did the stitch right along the front. This is the front piece. This is the part that hooks over the nose and cups at the bottom. Since I did the double stitch, I'm not gonna worry about tying the ends. I'm gonna just clip off this extra thread on each end. And how you want your top part of your mask to look like this. What I do is I come in and I also clip right along the edge of this so it could bend and fold a little more flexible. So I put a few. Without hitting the stitch, and it should fold really nice. So I repeat this step with this fabric also. Okay, so I've stitched both pieces, and you make sure that you have one side up, the front part, the designer part up, and then the lining. Instead of having it like this, you want to make sure you flip it so the inside could be laying on top, kind of like that. And I just kind of line it up. So here's the hair ties that I have. I popped them in half, but what I do is I kind of stretch them because they're really tight. And before I stitch them on, I try to give them some pull just to loosen it up so it won't be so tight and stiff. And what I do is I turn back each side like so, and then I lay the hair ties right at the tip, and I kind of try to space it out where I know a ear, like a adult size ear, will lay. And here's where the painter's tape come in at. I use this to tack it down. Now you can use some pins, but for me, you can just pull this tape away if it gets stuck in the seam. And with the needle, you have to pull it out real fast, and I'm not trying to do that. So I kind of lay it down like so. I might take a little extra off each end so it won't get too much in the seam, but that's what I do. And when I stitch it, I try to get close as possible. But I will also show you something else that I do. So we're just gonna go ahead and lay both sides. As best as possible. Then I try to close them together like this to kind of see if it lined up together. So see how these two are lined, but this one is a little off? I'm gonna go ahead and move this up some. The last thing you want is your ear to feel weird, and you're like, one ear feel fine, but the other ear feels weird. So I line them up as close as possible, which that wasn't a good one. Try to feel it through. Then I tack it down. So we're gonna go with this. Yeah. Now, I also like to go around it and put some pins in, so when I'm stitching it, it don't shift. Like so. So let's go ahead and stitch this buddy out. Okay, so as you can see, I did the stitching all the way around the frame of the mask, and I left a opening at the bottom. So I did the back stitch along the bottom of it where you can stick a filter in. So here's what I didn't tell you. To secure the tips, I put hot glue here, and I'll go ahead and show you that once my hot glue get hot. I'll be back to show you, but I put a little dab of hot glue just to secure the tips of them. And since they have fabric overlay, I just pinched the fabric, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I do that. Let me grab my hot glue gun. Okay, so right here, I go ahead and I put a little hot glue and I just press the fabric over it. If someone's pulling on the straps, it won't come off. And this is the time where I look around the mask. I make sure there's no strings hanging, it's clean, no glue. And then I just cut off anything that's okay, here's how the masks turned out. I'm loving it. I hope my customers love it. And if you guys love this video, please remember to thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, bye guys.